I love that intro. All right.
Hey, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It woke me up. I
There
was
you
half
go.
asleep.
It
It
will
woke me
wake you up.
up. Yeah.
Hey, everyone. This is the David Washington Show. We are here at the Oxford Sports Pub in Secret Society. And I was about to say Arlington Heights. No, that would be
Whoa,
in
whoa,
Illinois.
whoa. Yeah. I'm not in Illinois. I don't want to get myself in trouble here.
Altamont Springs. And I am here with one of my political godfathers, Jimmy Auffant, attorney, political inspiration. Welcome back, Jimmy.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
It is great to have you back. I know last week we were going to finish up the 20 points that I helped create in regards to reforming, restructuring, reviving the Florida Democratic Party. And then you said in our last visit that you had 5 additional points that you wanted to discuss. So I just want to go through the 5 points, the 5 final points of my plan, so that you're up to speed. And number 16 was to pay your field army, your field operatives. If you're going to win, you're going to need an effective field organization. And volunteers are great. They can supplement your field operations. However, they're like herding cats, and volunteers are volunteers. They're going to show up when they want to show up
And go where they want to go.
and go where they want to go. But if you're paying your field operations to do the job, and you have a good team, a good company to provide that, do it. If you have the funds, do it. 17. Don't care about what you think. It's what matters. And it doesn't matter what you feel. It's what the reality is. And taking that a little bit further, you have different consultants in the field, different influencers, politicals, who have their opinion. Everyone has that. But when it comes down to it, and it helps form your message, that there's facts, there's data, there's statistics to help form the opinion, form the direction of that campaign. So you got to really lean into what's factual, and do your own research, and know what the facts are in your particular race. Number 18, something that is very close to my heart, and that's creating a leadership academy, and an academy that teaches, educates activists, potential candidates, how to run an effective campaign for elected office, or for a particular charter amendment, or constitutional amendment, or something like that here in the state. There's better ways to do it from what I see out in the community now. There's a cookie cutter approach to preparing people to become candidates for elected office. Number 19, one of the things that the Republicans do very well, and that's defining Democrats. This past election cycle was a very good example of that. Socialists, communists, not of the norm. The Republicans here in Florida were very, very effective in defining the Democrats, and that helped the Republicans win. And it also helped that they had a lot of money to put out television commercial, newspaper ads saying that over and over, Democrats are too extreme for our community. It worked. And then finally, regardless of what the media says, the media has their perspective, and the media may not have all the facts. Just stay the course. If you believe you have a strong campaign, a strong message, an effective message, and more importantly, an effective strategy, stay the course, stick to it. Many times in my experience with candidates, they're like, I don't know, someone says I should do this, or our opponent is doing that. It's like, stay the course. If you believe in your campaign, if you believe in the people who are running the campaign, involved in your campaign, committed to you, and you believe in your voters, your message, and your strategy, stay the course. So, wrapping that up, did you have any comments about that before you tell us your 5 points?
Those are great points to end your 20. but I'm going to come up with the most controversial points up to date.
All right.
Point number 21, or my number one point.
Number one.
What the hell is the Florida Democratic Party doing? Not, and I'm going to say this, what is the Florida Democratic Party doing? House races are run by House victory. Senate races are run by Senate victory. And all local races are run by local people. They don't help at all. Absent completely. Oh, statewide candidates? Well, no, because the statewide candidates, as we saw from our last example, if they're responsible for recycling Charlie Crist, again, what are you doing? If the campaign for our candidate, that means for Senate, what are they doing? So basically, the truth of the matter is, can somebody define to me what the Florida Democratic Party does? It rents an office in Tallahassee. It pays $90,000 to the president, to Nikki, and to all previous ones. It meets once or twice a year with the committee man and committee women, and normally in Orlando, Florida, at a hotel, and tries to get certain things passed and change the regulations, pays consultant enormous amount of money, goes statewide and goes nationally and tries to get donations so they can pay the staff and have the office. But at the end of the day, how do they help change the culture of the Democratic Party? So with that in mind, I'm going to go the other four. What they should be doing.
Okay.
One, they should be taking your academy, going a step further, looking for candidates, cultivating the candidates, preparing the candidates, and getting them to be known nationwide and locally and statewide so they could get elected. Look, the Republicans had a good job until recently. Prior to DeSantis, they already had cultivated their past speaker, past congressman, who was going to be their next governor. They worked that. I have to give them credit for that. But DeSantis came and said, no, and he took over with the woke BS, because woke is not it's an opinion of two or three people, but other than being the opinion of two or three people, it's not the standard of the Democratic Party at all. So you cultivate them, you educate them, you prepare them. You make sure that they can start with state races. Look, right now, we could take Orange County. Every person who run for the state house was on their own. They funded themselves. They campaigned for themselves. The state party did not give them one help. Okay. Now that you have cultivated, now that you have found the candidates, now that you could get somebody who could be this the House representative in such district and that, and you're going to cultivate them, create what I will call a useless, or not useless, a good program. One.
Okay.
Pay their campaign managers.
All right.
Pay for real surveys where they could tell you what the community is interested in, what the community could care less about, and what the community could do. 3, bring back minority people to work the minority vote. I'm sick and tired of the Florida Democratic Party and the National Democratic Party taking the African American vote and the Hispanic vote for granted. They're going to vote for us because they can't. The other side doesn't want them. No. That's not the way it works. What it works is getting outreach people who could go out there, go into the community, make sure that there is there. Now I'm going to go to the most important point that the Florida Democratic Party, in my opinion, needs to do. I'm sick and tired of the message in this state to be the Republican message, and we have no response to it. We just take it and take it and take it, and they do nothing to come back to combat it.
I see a lot of yelling at rallies and on social media, and then it stops.
And that is part of it, a communication, but it's not all. Look, we got to the point in Florida and in the United States, we stopped calling ourselves liberal. Now we're progressives. I hate to say this, progressive is my car insurance, but I am a liberal. And let's get it clear. Liberals got the Voting Act passed. Liberals got the EPA voted it. Liberals got with the women's vote. And we could keep on going. So what? It's not that dirty to be a liberal, but maybe it's time to call out, hey, the party of taking away our freedom is DeSantis and the Republican Party. They're taking away
Okay.
our right for our teachers to select which books should be in their library. They're taking away the right of a librarian to decide which books should be in a library because they want them to be politically correct. We're not the party politically correct. They are the party of politically
They are.
Okay, so this is the message that we need to be going out there. We need to be raising money and saying that Republicans are racist, that Republicans are anti-freedom, that Republicans are anti-education, that they are control freaks, that they're against my decision of what to do with my body. Why do we just sit there and do nothing about it but take it? Social media is not the only real world. The real world is TV at times.
Right.
To the point that even when Demis ran, she tried to run as the ex-chief of police. Not once did she mention she was a congresswoman.
Yeah.
Why? Because she thought that that would be an image of toughness and that would help her. What really it didn't. Charlie Crist was an embarrassment the way he lost the second time.
Sure.
But basically, there is nothing there. They throw us like being a liberal is a dirty word. Well, let me tell you something. Being what you call today a conservative, which in defense of conservatives, I'm going to do something different. It's not a conservative opinion. It is a racist or a pro-anti-democratic vision
Okay.
to say this. Look, you have in Florida right now a legislation pending to say that if you're a blogger and you offend an elected official, you could be criminally prosecuted. Really?
Yes.
They are the anti-right First Amendment against freedom of speech.
And Jimmy, you have to register as a blogger to let the government know where your funds are coming, where you're being paid.
And that is all anti-democratic. So basically, it's time that we, instead of just sitting there and say, hey, Florida Democratic Party, stop raising money for consultants. Sorry, I know you're one.
Sure.
But
Sure.
you need to realize that consultants alone have not won this election. You have proven Einstein to be correct. You have repeated the same act since 2000.
Sure.
And you have got nothing to show for it. If anything, you're lost more races. And basically, at this point, you should be raising funds, putting ads on TV, calling them for what they are, and let the people see who they are, and let them see how horrible they are, and put down their words of how racist and how anti-education they are. Okay.
And Jimmy, it seems like there is no message by the Democrats that's resonating. We just recently had municipal elections here in Orange County. And in the city of Ocoee, which allegedly is more Democratic than Republican, we had the incumbents win. We had George Oliver III run for mayor. He lost. We had the candidate run for councilwoman, Shantae Munns, who received 167 votes. She was landslided by the incumbent. And the Shantae didn't even live in Ocoee prior to qualifying. And so it made me think like, wow, the Democrats, we knew that there was an election. We always know there are going to be municipal elections. We couldn't find a candidate that on our bench, if we have one, I doubt it, but we couldn't find a candidate that could run the year prior to the election and prepare people, get to know the voters, and get the turnout up. Turnout was 14%. Nothing seems to resonate or persuade Democrats to come out and bring their best candidate forward and then vote for them.
Well, the problem is that the party does not provide services. And that's the next point I want to get to.
Good point.
Help out local candidates. Well, how? I'm going to give you 5 ideas that you can do. One, buy printing machinery. Okay. And tell the candidates that they could use the machinery. They have to get the ink and they have to get the cardboard, and we'll do yard signs, anything that and they want. You would also print for them if they want to send out flyers, which I would not recommend, but I know that some people still think that those things work.
Sure.
Also, to provide for them, like you said, conferences. Hey, this is the company. Yeah, you pay them X amount of money, raise the money, and for every $2 that you raise, we'll match you with $1.
Okay.
And here,
All right.
and here you go, and we'll do the conference for you. Hey, 3, we will help you buy a phone bank where you can pay people also for the phone bank, and we could do that. 4, I'm going to give you a sample of something that happened with Split Oaks. They had people out there who had one piece of yard sign. If the environment is important to you, please talk to me before you walk in to vote.
That's
Simple.
a call to action.
That's a call for action. And environmental, what's it? You have this. And at the same time, they say this person is anti-environment, this person pro-environment. So basically, we can do that. We have signs if it's Democrat. Not everybody agrees with 100% of our views.
Sure.
And that includes me, and I'm
Sure.
a Democrat. So, but it's easier to say, these are the environmentalist candidates. These are the candidates who have concerns about development in other areas. So basically, that's 4. 5th is even simpler. Hire people. Hire people for early voting
Mm-hmm.
and for voting by mail. Let's get this simplified. The people who vote by mail are going to, you're going to know who they are. The
Right.
supervisor election will tell you their information. You can contact them 2 weeks before they receive the ballots. You could be contacting them every day that they receive the ballot, because there's a 99% chance that they're going to vote.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, there's only 25 in Orange County, 25 sites where you could go for the 10 days before the election to vote, early
Correct.
voting. Well, hire 50 people, split it 4 hours and 4 hours of it during that election, have them there giving out literature and talking to people about the same thing. You want to say environmentalists? Environmentalists. You want to say Democrats? Say Democrats. Have somebody there paid by the state party that will help the local candidates
There
get
you go.
known, because they're not known. If they do those 5 points to start off, they would help a lot. But basically, at this time, they're not doing one of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing
Okay.
0. Last but not least, this is the one thing I'm going to say. Florida Democratic Party, sit down, review your rules. Your rules are old. When the last time that we lost that Tam Richardson was the chairman, the recommendation from the consultants was to take less power away from the committeeman, committeewoman, and that would help an election. Answer to that question? No.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. Come up with a plan to help candidates. Come up with a plan to raise money to help candidates. Come up with a plan to also help the local parties. Look, we live in Orange County, and we have a half-decent party structure. And I say half-decent because it always could be better. I don't want them to think that,
Sure.
that they're the best, because they got no help from the state party. We just lost Date Miami. And when I talked to the people in Date Miami, you know what the answer was? The state party did not help us at all.
Sure.
You leave them on their own. We're right now transmitting from Seminole County. I've been to the Seminole County DEC. If they have $200, it's a lot. But they work their heart off,
They do.
and they work hard, but at the same time, they get no support. So, Nikki, you asked the question.
Mm-hmm.
My answer to you is to listen to this podcast, and you will get the answer. And by the way, You could call me. For the record, if you ask the staff in the party, they have my number and my cell, and they have my email. Contact me day or night. I will be more than glad to help out free of charge. But at this point, there is no such a thing as a Florida Democratic Party. There is a structure, but they do nothing. And I repeat, they do nothing. They will tell you that they have the van. The van is national. They make money off the van.
Of course.
They will tell you that they can send out flyers. Yeah. And they make money off sending off the flyers. And they can help you with donations, and they make money out of the donations.
With many of our elections determined in the August primaries, the FDP, the party, even at the local DECs, they say, well, we can't get involved. And that's when it seems like we really do need their help.
Well,
that needs to change. If they're able to provide any help.
Well, look, it's simple. It's not that they can't. It's that they don't have the vision of how to do it. I'll give you an example. I told you have a printing machine.
Yes.
Sure. You have done studies to tell you what is relevant in certain issues in certain areas and stuff. Provide that for all the candidates, not for only one. Hey, candidates, you're a Democrat. There's information for all of you to share and do with it what you see fit. Hey, you want to send out a flyer? Sure. Here's the software. I don't care. It's for all of you. Hey, you want to use conferences? Hey, here's the company. Hey, you pay them. I don't care. That's your right to do it. The 5 points that I brought up, if you look at them, there's no reason to come up with that excuse that there's two candidates. There could be 5. You're just giving them access to use this, and if they have the funds to pay the conferences, I don't have a problem at all. Now, if you want to tell me that before August, you're not going to contribute towards a campaign manager, I can live with that one. If you want to tell me that you're not going to, pay the campaign manager for each of the Democratic candidates, I could live with that one.
Right.
I'm fine with it. Or you could tell me that if they use a canvasser for every $2 they spend, the party's going to give them $1. I can live with that too.
Okay.
But you're giving them the facilities for them to get elected, and you're just giving it to every candidate. So there is no conflict at all.
So, Jimmy, are we looking at the party, looking at their bylaws, looking at what can go, what can be simplified, what they can add, and moving into the 21st century of winning elections? Would it be a review, a structural review of the effectiveness of the party moving forward? Do they have to strip everything down and get to it?
They don't have to strip everything down. What they have to do is change their priorities. Their priorities up to now is to raise money, to pay for the rent of the office, the staff, and the consultants. Other than that, they do very little to nothing to help out the local parties or for anybody who wants to get elected. Look, the biggest joke, and I'll give you an example of how bad it is, when Gideon ran for governor,
yes,
he picked the company that he wanted to do his campaign.
Sure.
And asked me how much money did the Florida Democratic Party contribute towards the payment of that? And I can answer that with a big 0. That's where the problem comes. Mm-hmm. So at that point, it was not primaries. It was past August. We knew what the official candidate was. And basically the same thing. You could say the same thing about Charlie Crist and others. The problem is that we need to take the party away from a special group of interests who are controlling that, and it's not in the best hands.
It's a lot of work ahead for the Democratic Party of Florida.
I hope Nikki has the guts to take out the special interest, because if you think that special interest groups only exist in the Republican Party, nah. we compete there hardly and very well.
I agree. Well, Nikki has the Republican Party to be concerned about, because there's a bill called the Ultimate Cancel Bill, the Ultimate Cancel Bill, that is in the state Senate to effectively destroy. Is that the right word? Effectively end the Democratic Party as we know it here in Florida.
I hope they could try. I don't see how a court could say that unless we're doing something illicit or illegal, that I cannot organize a political party. So, hey, Go for it.
It's a frivolous, bill. However, the Republicans, they are not holding back, and the Democrats, they've got their hands full.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they will for a long time.
And I'm going to say something. And the other problem they have is that they used to receive funds from out of state because we were considered purple state. We're not considered purple
Right.
state anymore. So raising money outside of the state might be a problem. But, maybe if you also listen to the liberal part of the party and stop pushing us away, you might get something done.
Or perhaps the Republicans will overreach this legislative session into the next legislative session, and then 2024, the voters realize what is at stake and decide to change things.
Well, the thing is that we have to get people out to vote. And I hate to say this, the Florida Democratic Party has done a horrible track record on that area.
Ouch.
Oh, yeah. If anything, they have learned how to suppress their own vote. Suppress. And let me tell you what I mean by suppress.
Oh, yes.
It's taking for granted the African American and Hispanic vote and thinking you don't need to spend there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Let's get this clear. Thinking you don't need to spend there. Look how much is spent on Channel 2, Channel 6, and Channel 7 in ads by the party
Oh,
compared to Telemundo and Univision. Okay?
you're right, Jimmy.
And that's just, but we don't have to spend that much with Hispanic and Black because they're going to vote for us no matter what. Well, guess what? There's such a thing as Hispanics who are conservative, and there are African Americans who really are very religious people and are against abortion.
Right.
What? But there are, yes, they are. So you have to be careful with this cookie cut message that we think. Look, you want to see how bad message is? Can you define to me woke?
I cannot.
But your governor has made a great campaign of eliminating woke
Yes,
in this state.
It's in almost every other speech. Woke this, woke that. And
Woke is some.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, I think what he's talking about is some idiots on Twitter who makes some idiot comments.
Mm-hmm.
And people assume that because they're idiots, they're liberals, but they could be conservatives because conservatives do have idiotic ideas too.
Right.
Like, for example, against Abraham Lincoln, which I find interesting, or like Christopher Columbus. Well, yeah, he was that type of person. I mean, comments that I remember from the good old days.
Mm-hmm.
There was a comedian that everybody celebrated in this country and thought he was the best thing. And for every roast, he was there. And his name was Don Wrinkles.
Ah, yes.
And Don Wrinkles could be extremely politically incorrect.
Yes.
But
very good content.
But that's what the time was. As a matter of fact, there was another comedian who was Mr. Foster, who pretended to be drunk all the time and said things because he was drunk that then when he was sober, he'd never remember saying.
That's a great cover.
That's a great cover. So basically, yes, times change is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Look, and I'll give you the last example of something that what I mean by times change. Obama was late.
Yes,
on gay marriage. He was late.
Yes, he was.
He was. So when people tell me, no. We don't always get it right. Okay, the first time. So let's stop pretending. But if you want to talk about it, okay. DeSantis is taking away my freedom. DeSantis is telling teachers what to teach. DeSantis is trying to tell what I can say as a blogger and my freedom of speech. And now they're even trying to say that we should not even have a party called the Florida Democratic Party. And you're okay with that? And you're going to call that freedom? If that's freedom, you're an idiot.
Folks need to be in the streets.
Well, yeah, but what is our messaging? I don't know if you ever saw the West Wing.
You've been telling me about it, other people, and I just need to sit down and watch it. Just sit and watch it and fit it into my schedule of podcasts and things like that.
There's a scene where a Democrat says, I'm sick and tired of apologizing to the other side, saying that they're right and me not taking my message against them. And that was in 1984. Things have not changed.
We need to take the message to the people. Take
Yep.
the fight.
So,
Take the fight to the
Nikki, if you're listening,
Republicans.
here's your solutions.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you. It's been a
I
pleasure.
appreciate it. This has been great.
I hope someday we could do it again. And
Oh,
I
yes.
have told your partner that we need to do a liberal versus a conservative.
We will
podcast.
do that. We will do that. I believe we can schedule that, get that going ASAP.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Loved it.